In the heart of their shared life, doubts began to seed themselves in Emma's mind. A subtle shift in her husband Mark's behavior raised suspicions that he might be communicating with her sister, Sarah. Emma noticed fleeting glances exchanged between Mark and Sarah, conversations that trailed off upon her entry into the room, and an unusual secrecy that lingered in the air. As the unease grew, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to their interactions than met the eye. Late-night phone calls, hushed conversations, and the occasional furtive glances fueled her growing suspicion. The subtle signs were like whispers in the wind, leaving Emma with a sense of disquiet that refused to be ignored. One evening, unable to contain her concern any longer, Emma broached the subject with Mark. "Mark, I've noticed something. Are you and Sarah communicating more than usual?" Her voice wavered, betraying the vulnerability that lay beneath the surface. Mark, caught off guard by the directness of the question, attempted to brush off Emma's concerns. "It's just family stuff, Emma, nothing to worry about," he replied, his eyes avoiding direct contact. Emma, however, was not easily appeased. The nagging doubts had taken root, and she pressed for clarity. "Mark, I need honesty. If there's something going on, we should talk about it." Mark, realizing the weight of the situation, chose transparency over deflection. He admitted to an increase in communication with Sarah, citing family matters and shared responsibilities. Yet, the lingering doubts persisted in Emma's mind, casting a shadow over the trust that had once been the bedrock of their marriage. The days that followed became a delicate dance of emotions and conversations. Emma, torn between trust and suspicion, struggled to make sense of the situation. She grappled with the complexities of familial bonds, and the unsettling feeling that there might be more to the story than she was being told. As the threads of doubt continued to weave through the fabric of their lives, Emma faced a choice, whether to let fear and suspicion erode the foundation of her marriage or to confront the uncertainty head-on. Little did she know that the path she chose would unravel a web of secrets, altering the course of her life in ways she could never have anticipated. In the heart of the bustling city, Emma found herself caught in the whirlwind of life. Balancing work to pay the rent and the strains of a challenging relationship with her husband, Mark, she navigated the challenges that came her way. Little did she know that a storm was brewing within the walls of her own home. One evening, Emma returned home, weary from the demands of her job. She expected the comforting embrace of her marriage, a sanctuary from the outside world. However, as she stepped through the door, an eerie silence hung in the air, and a sense of unease settled over her. Unable to shake off the feeling, Emma confronted Mark, seeking solace in the familiar warmth of their connection. The revelation that followed was a dagger to the heart. Mark, her husband, had betrayed their sacred bond, engaging in an affair with none other than Emma's own sister, Sarah. The news shattered Emma's world. Her sister, her confidante, had become an unwitting accomplice in the ultimate betrayal. Anguish and disbelief washed over her in waves as she grappled with the magnitude of the deception. Confronting Mark and Sarah became an emotionally charged ordeal. Emma's emotions, ranging from anger to heartbreak, spilled out in a torrent of words. The foundations of trust that had once held her marriage together crumbled beneath the weight of infidelity. As Emma faced the harsh reality of the situation, she made the agonizing decision to confront her husband and sister and demand the respect and answers she deserved. In the tearful and tense conversations that followed, the intricacies of the affair were laid bare, leaving scars that would take time to heal. In the aftermath of this heart-wrenching revelation, Emma grappled with the pain and betrayal, seeking refuge in the support of friends and family. The process of rebuilding her life, emotionally and physically, became a daunting journey, but Emma found strength in her resilience. Therapy and self-reflection became her guiding lights, helping Emma navigate the complex emotions and reclaim her sense of self. Through the darkness of the betrayal, she discovered an inner strength that propelled her forward. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, Emma slowly began to rebuild her life, a testament to the indomitable spirit that refused to be broken by the heartache left in the wake of a devastating betrayal. In the web of deceit that Mark had woven, promises of change hung precariously like fragile threads. His declaration that the betrayal would not happen again echoed through the hollow promises that shrouded his clandestine affair with Sarah. As the days unfolded, a secret liaison persisted, hidden behind a carefully constructed facade of remorse. Mark, driven by a complex web of emotions and desires, found himself ensnared in the dangerous dance of infidelity. His whispered assurances to Emma masked a reality where his heart and loyalties were divided. Late-night messages, secret meetings, and stolen glances became the currency of a forbidden connection that continued to thrive in the shadows. Meanwhile, Emma, desperate for the restoration of trust and stability, clung to the belief that Mark had genuinely changed. She yearned for the reassurance that their marriage could weather the storm that had threatened to tear it apart. Unbeknownst to her, the very storm she hoped to weather had not yet abated. The echoes of Mark's betrayal reverberated through their relationship, casting a veil of uncertainty over the love they had once shared. The fragility of Emma's trust hung by a thread, suspended between the hope for redemption and the fear of further deception. As the truth remained hidden, the weight of the secret affair intensified. Mark and Sarah, bound by a connection they couldn't sever, continued their clandestine rendezvous, their actions echoing through the fragile trust that remained between Mark and Emma. In the shadows of their shared life, the intricate dance of deception played out, threatening to unravel the very fabric of the marriage. Little did Emma know that the promises of change were but whispers in the tempest, and the storm of betrayal that had once subsided was gathering strength once more, threatening to unleash its fury on the delicate ties that bound them all. The air in Emma's apartment hung heavy with tension as she returned home earlier than expected, a nagging sense of unease tugging at her. The door creaked open, revealing a scene that shattered the fragile remnants of trust she had desperately tried to rebuild. There, in the heart of their shared space, Emma confronted a painful tableau. Mark and Sarah, entwined in a betrayal that unfolded before her eyes, stood frozen in the spotlight of Emma's disbelief. The air crackled with the weight of unspoken words and the devastation of a love unraveling. The room seemed to close in around them as Emma's voice, filled with a mix of anger and hurt, sliced through the silence. "How could you do this to me, Mark? In our home, with my sister?" Mark, caught in the act, stumbled over his words, a futile attempt to explain the inexplicable. Sarah, her eyes downcast with guilt, found herself unable to meet Emma's gaze. Tears streamed down Emma's face as a surge of emotions engulfed her, betrayal, heartbreak, and a profound sense of loss. The weight of the truth crashed down upon her, leaving her standing in the wreckage of the life she had known. The confrontation that followed was an emotionally charged storm, the room echoing with accusations, pleas, and shattered vows. The shared history of sisterhood and marriage now lay in ruins, as the bonds that once defined Emma's world disintegrated before her eyes. As the reality of the betrayal unfolded, Emma faced an agonizing decision. In the throes of despair, she demanded answers, grappling with the pain of the ultimate betrayal. The shared home that had once been a haven now transformed into a battlefield, each word exchanged leaving scars that ran deeper than the visible wounds. In that moment of devastation, Emma found a strength she never knew she possessed. The unraveling of trust became a crucible in which her resilience was tested, and the path forward became uncertain. Little did she know that this heart-wrenching revelation would be the catalyst for a journey of self-discovery, healing, and the gradual rebuilding of a life fractured by deceit.